Hey everybody, welcome back to One Seed, One World. So, we are getting some more chickens this weekend. We've got, I guess, four. We got 4 hens and a new rooster coming this weekend. And so I'm trying to get the run set up so that we can have a separation area for everybody, as well as kind of replenishing the wood chips and stuff that are here on the ground, because all the old mulch and stuff that was in here was completely scratched down to nothing. They've got it down to the dirt, and I just got a new truckload of the free wood chips delivered, and they got it dumped up there, so I've got to start moving that in here, as well as putting together my separation wall and doors and stuff in here. So when you get new chickens, if you have an existing flock and you're going to add more, you should separate them for probably 2 to 3 weeks. Now it's best if you have an area that is removed, in case there's any type of airborne disease or whatnot that could transfer from the new chickens coming into your existing flock. But sometimes that's not always possible. What I have set up here is it's all one big run, and then we have an area that I'm separating out that has another smaller coop where the new hens will stay. So they will be in very close proximity. It's just a wire wall that's going to separate them so they can kind of acclimate to each other, but it's probably not the best when it comes to complete separation, but sometimes you do what you can. There's all this stuff this year about the avian flu. We were going to get our chickens from the poultry swap like we did before, but there's been closures and I guess bans on sales and at big events like that and whatnot. And so we ended up deciding not to go, which was a good thing, because it turned out that for our local poultry swap, the day of, they weren't allowed to sell chickens unless they were pre-existing orders or something. So what we ended up doing is we went back to the original lady that we got our chickens from, and she raises chickens for sale, and she put together another small flock for us and is going to deliver them here either Saturday or Sunday I think. So we do have 4 and a rooster coming this weekend, and then there were 3 younger. The ones that we're getting are about 14 weeks or so, I think. They're just about ready to lay. They're bigger. So one quick note that I wanted to make was that I was mistaken on the ages of the hens and the rooster that came yesterday. They're not 14 weeks old. They are about a year to a year and a half, depending on the chicken. They are already laying. And then there are 3 smaller ones that we are getting that aren't quite ready yet, and she's going to keep them for us, then bring them up in like a month. And so that will give us time to get the first set acclimated and then moved into the big coop. And then we will get the other 3, and then they will start off in the small coop and in the separated area, and then get acclimated, and then we'll incorporate them into the flock, and then eventually we'll have everybody all together. So I guess we will end up with 13 hens and 1 rooster. And we're getting a mix of breeds this time as well, ones that lay speckled brown eggs, blue eggs. I think there's a green one in there, some of the Easter egger types. So, hi, Opal. You standing in the waters, getting drinks? So I just wanted to show you kind of what I'm doing out here so that you can kind of see the way our separation area works, and something that you can consider if you need to separate chickens and can't put them farther away. There are some other options that aren't maybe 100% the best, but it still will work. So right now I got this partial wall that separates the 2 areas. That's the mother-in-law suite back there, and that's where the new hens will go in that little one. I think that can hold up to 6 chickens, and we're only gonna have 4 in there at a time, so they should be good. Our girls are gonna be sad because that area underneath is where they love to sit during the day. So they're not gonna be able to go down there for a couple weeks, but they'll get over it. And they'll all be together soon. So this was kind of a cheap one. I bought at the local family farm store, but it's worked well for when we had a broody hen and when we needed to separate some sick chickens as well. This area has been good. This area also has the lilac bush, and so they'll have a pretty good size area over here. And as I pan around, you can kind of see where the big area is with the big coop up there. So that's where all our current flock will be. So step one is, because it's half wall, you know, it's only, I don't know, maybe a couple feet high, 3 feet high maybe. The chickens, of course, could fly over this. So what I'm doing is just taking some of this plastic construction fence as a temporary measure. That way I can just take it back down later. And I'm just kind of screwing it up here to the top and along these posts here. And that should be high enough to keep them from flying over. So I just attach it along here to the post, and then I'll put a couple screws in to screw it down onto the tops of the base, just to help hold it. And then once I have this up along here, I have a couple of old hardware cloth roofing panels that I used on the old run that I'm going to use as doors, and I just kind of mount them up there, sort of, you know, just enough to keep the chickens separated, but you know, they're nothing overly special. It's just old scrap wood and wire that I'm putting together as a couple of doors, and it works out. We'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so got the plastic fence up, got these old dilapidated roof panels up from the old chicken run for doors. They're on hinges, so they just swing in or out however I want. And because they're not very, you know, attached and they kind of overlap, they don't really fit for this area, but it works for what I want to do. But I just use a bungee cord here to keep them closed. And I've got Maud and Opal over here. They're my demonstration, although I don't know if they come up on the camera. I think they're down too low. But anyway, so separation is up. Again, it's not the perfect situation because they are very close. So it's not really going to protect from diseases, especially airborne ones. Better to have them in separated areas on your property if you can. But at least with this, they're sleeping in different areas, and they are close enough with the hard wire that's on the ground. They can walk back and forth. They get to know each other, but they can't fight until they kind of get used to each other. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll start letting them all free range together out in the yard. And that will kind of help them get used to each other too. Once it seems like everybody has established themselves the pecking order and aren't fighting too much, then they'll all start moving into the big coop and we'll be good to go. So that's it. Separation wall and doorway is up in the coop for the new chickens. So, whatever's going on in your neck of the woods, I hope it's gone fantastic for you. If you got chickens, I hope they are happy and healthy and you are enjoying them and getting lots of eggs. But thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me again today. We'll see you again soon. Namaste, everybody.